So we're going to do a material test on some birch plywood. And I'm using this for the first time. And you should, anytime you change materials, it's best to do a material test so you can figure out your best settings. And I thought I might as well share it. I know I've done a lot of material tests, but hopefully it helps somebody out. So I picked up this plywood, and first thing I noticed is each sheet is individually wrapped. So I don't know if all birch comes that way, but this one did. And I'll drop a link to where I got this down in the description. So if you're like me, you started lasering and you started using basswood plywood, and you figured out it works good for most of your projects. So you kept using it. That's what I did. And it is a good wood. It's soft, it cuts good, it looks good engraved. So we just keep using it. But I was thinking about doing some photos, and I wanted to figure out which one would look better, the birch or the basswood. Now birch is a sturdier wood, so it is better for projects that need to be longer lasting, or larger projects that you don't want to warp after you make them. But we're going to do the material test today, and then maybe the next video I can pit the birch against the basswood and see which one looks best with the same photo. So if you'd like to see that, just let me know in the comments, and I'll see if I can knock that out. So let's get right into the material test. Okay, we've been to this point in the video already, but I made a mess out of my settings and burned up my pretty piece of wood. So it looks like this. I had two lower speeds and two high powers. And I also made the mistake of running air while I was doing this because I had it set to cut it out. I use air for cuts, but I don't typically use it if I'm doing a field, if it's a lighter field. So, which this should be, but it's not. So we're going to do this again. And I got my notes here. I'll pull them over out of the way. So we're going to go up to Laser Tools, down to Material Test. Now, if you're on LightBurn 2.0, then yours looks like this. If you're on an earlier version, it'll look a little different, but don't fret. You can do the same thing. You can get a material test out of it just as good. So, we're going to enable text. We're going to disable border, but we'll take a look at it. Here's the border. We'll look at it first. So if you're cutting something like wood that you can cut out, then you can set a border to cut it out. And it would cut it out this size here, 73 by 82, somewhere in that range. But because I don't want to use air assist for this, I'm just turning it off. So we'll click OK, leave it off. So on the left, we have speed. On the right, we have power. So I left it on this default value the first time, but we're going to change it to 50 and a max of 150. And we're going to make the boxes 8 millimeters. We'll take a look at that in the preview. Make it 8 millimeters on both sides. And for power, I had set 10% to 50%, which was too much. So we're going to go 5 to 25. 5%, 25%. It still may be too much. I've got a 40 watt diode laser, but we'll see. If it messes up, then we'll just do it again. So edit the text setting, and you just want something that'll write. Just leave it online. There's no real need to put it on fill. and this was way too much. So I'm going to change that to 30% power. So 50, speed of 50 and power of 30. Click OK. Material setting. So you don't have to change this because it's being controlled here. But you do need to set this for a fill. For this particular test, if you're doing a cut test, of course set it to line. But for this one, we're doing a fill, and be sure it's set for that. And for some reason, my interval is set to 0.2, and that should be 0.1. At least it's my understanding that for diode lasers, 0.1 is the optimal setting. And I recently done a interval test, and I agreed with it that 0.1 was optimal. So I'll drop a link to that down in the description. You can check it out if you like. It's helpful to do one. We're doing one pass, and we're clicking OK. Let's see. This Y center and X center, it's adjustable because I'm in absolute coordinates. If you were in user origin or current position, it would be grayed out and you couldn't move it. But when you're doing one of these material tests, it's best to just, you can look at this and have an idea of where it's going to hit, but just do a frame. And if you need to move your wood or your material underneath it, then do that. That works fine. That's what I typically do. So we can jump in the laser. We'll run the frame and see how that looks and adjust if we need to. And then we'll come back and hit start and see if I can do a little better this time than this right here. That's awful. That's such a pretty piece of wood too. So, okay, let's jump in the laser, hit it, and see what we get. I'll be right back, folks. Okay, we're all set up again. We'll run this frame, see where it hits, and adjust. You can see where I messed up the first time. That is way too deep, not what I wanted. I wanted something closer to this, so I could figure out how well this would do with a photo. But I don't know. We'll see if we can get there. Let's run the frame and see what we got. Alright, I'm just going to move it right below this one. See if we can hit it there. And as I understand it, that's possible because I'm in absolute coordinates. Okay, that looks pretty good. Like I said, I'm not going to use air. I'm just going to use exhaust. And we'll run this, see what we get. Okay, here's what we got, and it certainly looks better than this first try over here. So we didn't get anything with the higher speeds and lower powers, but that's okay. We've got more information than we had to start with, and probably the best settings will be over in here somewhere just to get some good color, and down in here for some depth. So it'll help me. I hope it's helpful to you. If it was, please like and subscribe, It helps keep the channel going, keeps me out in the shop, and it's really appreciated. So if you have any topic suggestions, just drop those in the comments and I'll do my best to get to them. And if you have questions, I'm glad to answer those. So just check back often for new videos. You folks take care, and we'll see y'all next time. Thank you.